This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
I'm kind of on the outs with Little People of America.
Yeah.
So I tried getting on a dating site once, and they would not let me on there because I am not a little person.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
You're tapering yourself down from your hangover or whatever. Oh no, when that started rolling into a whole another entire day of drinking, it just didn't stop.
It is the 23rd of October. My name is Corey Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. And a special guest joining me, and we are actually filming this, so it will be live on YouTube and our app, the very one and only Jacob Sparks. Jacob, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic, Corey. How are you?
I'm doing well, man, and I'm glad that you're joining me, obviously. And this is something that I've been looking forward to for a while. And I figured, once you got some time underneath your belt, that I would have you on as a guest. And well, here you are, man. How's your recovery going, man?
It's going really good. I am currently 18 months sober, and it is going up and down as, can be expected, but it's going well as it should.
Nice. And we first met, you were in treatment, and I was actually working at the treatment center, and you had long hair. And
yeah, I did. Came down to here.
Yeah. And you were just the typical guy that people would say, oh yeah, that's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Somebody could come up to you at a bus station and be like, hey man, what you need,
mm-hmm.
And part of your transformation was like, all right, well, that's the old me. And I'm going to do different haircut. I'm going to change my attitude, and, things are really working out for you, man. And I'm digging what you're doing. And one of the things that you like to do, and you're a singer, and
yes.
You actually had an album out before, correct?
Yes, I did. It's a 5-song demo I called Caught in Purgatory.
And that was more heavy metal, right?
No, it was rap.
Oh, okay. But there was one that you did where you sung on that seemed like it was heavy metal.
Yes, that was one that I did with my friend Christopher Reed. It's actually a Christian song called Deadly Mistakes. It's on YouTube. It's about a guy who, he understands that he has made mistakes and he's asking God for forgiveness one last time. So that's what that's about.
And he's asking God in his metal voice. But when I met you in there, man, it was really cool. And you had just mentioned to me that you went and saw NF in Detroit a couple weeks ago. And
yes, I did.
You had never heard of NF until I met you, and I was like, hey man, listen to this song. And I want to say it was Green Lights. I'm not sure.
It was.
It could have been Green Lights, but that song to me, I listened to it over and over and over and over and over as I was working like a part-time job, working at a place in Petoskey, Michigan. It was an RV resort. It was a pretty cool gig, man. For a little summertime job, it was pretty easy. Got to hang out with people, very cool bosses, but it wasn't what I wanted to do with my career. But at that point in my recovery, I wasn't looking for a career. I needed stable. I needed something to just ground me, just get through. And I wasn't giving up on my dreams, but I knew that it was a cool little job. It wasn't too hard. I'm not a big fan of working. So it was perfect for me, during the season. And on the way to work, I listened to that song over and over and over. And it would just kind of remind me of, okay, man, don't listen to other people. They're going to try to stop you. They're going to try to crush your dreams. Don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
They can't understand my dreams, And of course, you're going to hate on them. That's what haters do. So just keep the green lights going, man. Just keep going. Just keep going. And that's something that really meant a lot to me. So when, I'm pretty sure it was that song that I played for you, and you're just like, whoa, that's dope. And you said you just been hooked on NF ever since.
I have, man. He's my main inspiration. I can go as far as calling him my hero. And the song, 2 songs before that song on that album, I am quite obsessed with Outkast, because that's me. Growing up, I always felt like I was looking from the outside in on my life, and it's not like that anymore, but I still feel like an outcast to people because of how I think and how I act. It's different from a lot of people, but that's okay. Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
But that Outkast song just really speaks to me about being yourself. And that's pretty much what he's saying. He has the tat on his arm, and he puts on his Tim's boots, and he's just himself. That's what makes him the outcast. So.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you were showing me in there, you started writing raps while you were in there.
Yes.
And you started letting me read them and stuff. And I remember how eager you would be. I would come to work and you'd be like, hey man, I got, read these. And sometimes it was hard for me to get away to read them. Those other stuff that we had to do, other work that I had to avoid. And so, but I did read them, man. I thought, man, this is really good stuff. And one of the things I said to you, man, like, don't let, pretty much kind of what NM says, don't let other people dictate what you can do and what you can't do. Mm-hmm. And, I told you, you can do anything you want as long as you're sober. And doesn't matter. People can laugh at you. People can say it sucks, whatever. Make it better. You're not just going to all of a sudden write a song and perfect it and just first time take, hey, your number one hit. It takes practice. It takes years. And that's something that even when you started recording your raps and putting them on YouTube, I listened to them at the beginning and I'm like, okay, I wasn't judging you, but now I am, because you've gotten so much better, watching them now compared to when you started. And that's what's supposed to happen. Now if they still were, at the beginning stages, I'd be like, well, keep working on it, but you're actually getting better. And I see it, other people see it. And that's something that, you just put your head down, put your earphones on and just do what you need to do, man. And is it good for you? That's at the end of the day, that's kind of what makes sense. And, you know that you're getting better, and who knows, man, sky's the limit. As long as you stay sober, man, you can do anything. Exactly.
It's gotten me to write 70 songs after I've gotten out of rehab. And they're, some of them aren't very long. Most of them are more or less journal entries, but they still get my thoughts out. There's still things that I appreciate and I've created. But like you were saying, how I'm getting better with the singing and stuff. I've been singing and doing all that for the last 13 years of my life. And the rap, I do it every single day. I practice my butt off. I can't stop. I mean, I see so many people that don't practice and they lose their talent. They lose their gift. And I can't afford that. My singing is my life. It keeps me sober. It allows me to put something and contribute something to my sobriety. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It gives myself a never-ending circle that never has to be broken.
One thing that I did in radio, and I'm kind of kicking myself for it now, but we used to have to record ourselves, and every show we'd have to record, and I always thought, okay, I did some funny stuff today. I did some really good stuff today, but that's not as good as I'm going to get. So why would I keep that? I'm going to be better tomorrow. Next week I'm going to be even better than I was yesterday. So why would I want to keep that? So, I mean, part of that, like, man, there's some funny stuff I wish I would have kept, but at the same time, I was never satisfied with, okay, this is my peak. I've reached my peak. No, I would always want to be better, and kept going and kept doing that kind of thing. And, I think that's true for a lot of artists out there today, when they get satisfied with, oh, I'm at the top, I'm just going to relax. Like you said, then they start slipping a little bit, and it doesn't take much for them to just fall off. And, they come out with a crappy album, that could be it for them. The record label drops them, and fans fall off, and they're on to the next. I mean, the music industry is so cutthroat, and what's next? That they don't have time for that stuff either. And, NF, he kind of does his thing his own way, like, yeah, he has a company and stuff like that, but he's doing his own thing. And, I guarantee you, he's not slacking, every day he's trying to figure out, how can I get better? And where a lot of us will go, dude, you're the greatest, you're great, but he's still in his mind thinking, what can I do to get better? How can I relate even more to these people? And, that's just, cause this is kind of what it takes. And I think that's something that'll burn with you for probably the rest of your life.
I'm hoping so.
Finding a purpose, which I would assume that you have found the purpose in, rapping and writing music, but what other ways have you found to kind of find your purpose to help you in your recovery?
Well, I got my old job back that I wanted, my CNC job. That I got that back, and it kind of completed me as a working person. And that was one thing that I really needed, because I am a person that likes to work. And when you work, you can help other people. Like, I helped my grandpa blow the leaves out of his yard. And it's those little kind of things that help me feel better as a human being. And when you're getting those feelings of self-satisfaction from helping other people, you realize that this is what they mean by recovery comes first. Because without me being sober, I wouldn't be able to go out and do this job that I have and help other people and write these songs and do all this stuff. So just literally being a do-gooder, but it doesn't come with all those happy perks. You still get your frustrations and you still get depressed. Like I just went through a breakup, lost my girlfriend of 5 years, and that sucks. I'm still hurting from it, but I don't go to work and let my coworkers be affected by that, because that's something that I can deal with, in my recovery. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't know. I'm just trying to stay focused, stay motivated, and understand where my place is at in my life right now. Because yes, I may get somewhere with my music in the future, but that's in the future, and the thing that keeps me really sober is staying here in the now. Because you focus on the past, you start getting upset over things you've done. And if you start focusing on the future, you can get too ahead of yourself and then you stumble. But that's just me. Everybody else is different. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I agree with that kind of way of thinking. And, not saying that we don't have something planned for our future, but we know that how we can control it is by what we do today. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I'm not going to go out of my way to try to do something that, is going to set me up for 2 months from now, but I'll do what I can today that will lead me to the next step. That'll lead me to tomorrow, which will, what can I do, again, to lead to that next level. And I think a lot of people, and especially in early recovery, man, we get frustrated. You get that 6 months. I remember I got my 6 months was this last time. That's the only time I ever had 6 months. And for me, I was so focused in on, what was next in that day. But before I would have 5 months, I would get close. And how come things aren't changing? How come I don't have all the stuff that I want now? How come I'm still living at my mom's crib? Like what's going on? How come this isn't happening? And nothing was ever fast enough for me. And until I was ready to just kind of accept, okay, things are the way they are. And let me try this other method that people have been telling me for over and over, to just control what I can control and stop trying to do it my way and accept the fact that I can never drink again. I can never use drugs again and be okay with it. Until I was able to do that, it was just pointless. And I think that kind of fed into some of that, how come things aren't nice? How come things aren't the way they're supposed to be? And, these promises people are telling me. And I've had friends kind of do the same thing. My friend Jamie, he's got 8 months now, and I'm proud of him. He's never had that long before. And I remember I don't know how many times ago it was for Jamie, but I remember him calling me saying, things aren't getting better, man. Like what the hell? And he was just miserable. And he was a dry drunk at that point. And it's tough, being a dry drunk. And it's just like, well, okay, well, what else are you doing? And I would always say that to him, like, what else are you doing? Well, I'm not drinking. Okay, but what else? What are you doing? And now he found that there were some meetings where he lives that he's not a big fan of them. And so, well, what are you going to do about it, Jamie? I'm going to start my own. So he did. He went out and he started his own damn meeting. So there you are. You're doing something about it. Right. He could have went to other meetings, sure. But, being a military guy, he knows there's a lot of other military people in that area where he's like, what, let's have like a military AANA meeting, it's just a recovery meeting. And other people are welcome too, but just come on and, no BS was his kind of thing. And, I tried to tell him, like, Jamie, you can't really control what other people do, but he's like, well, yeah, I can take them outside. And I'm like, no, you really can't really do that. I mean, you can, but I don't know if that would be the best way to go about it.
No.
But yeah, so when did we were kind of talking about that before we came on too. And I know we don't want to talk about the past too much. But yeah, we do have a past and we do have a moment. Mm-hmm. We all do, where we got to that point, that breaking point where it was like, all right, enough's enough. Like, where were you at and what happened to make you actually go to treatment and seek out this kind of life?
Well, it was the point where I had gotten into a really bad fight with my next door neighbor. And, some things were said and some things were done. And I was facing some prison time, and it was that fear of being locked away for that long and knowing what I would become. That kind of made me realize I need to get sober. I don't want to lose my family. I don't want to lose my life. I don't want to lose myself any more than what I already have. So for the first 3 weeks before I came into rehab, I was a dry drunk. You know, I cut cold turkey, and I was sitting on my couch friggin' miserable until I came to Dukoski. And when I got there, it was like walking back home, being in a familiar place, because I had been at Dukoski before. And being there again made me realize this is okay. I can get through this. And I got my first 30 days while I was in Dukoski, and being through all of that, man, I don't know. It was just thing after thing after thing after thing. And it just kept slapping me in the face and screaming at me, dude, stay with this, stay with this. And it like brainwashed me, man. I can tell you the truth. Recovery freaking brainwashed me this time, because I let it. I wanted it to. I needed it. My body and my mind was craving it at this point. I was crying out for help. And I took it. And I love telling people that I cut cold turkey after 8 years of alcoholism. The reaction on their face, they get so proud of that. They love that. Man, that's when it became real. Just at those first 3 weeks of being a dry drunk and realizing what I had done, and feeling all those emotions and feeling the sickness and the shakes and the regrets. It makes you think. So,
and you're young enough too, man, where, you know, you stopped it pretty quick, and it takes what it takes. Sure. But to not have to be stuck in that kind of prison anymore, you know, I mean, the drinking that I kind of did, and probably you too, it was like we were in our own prison, you know, like it's just such a vicious cycle. I didn't want to be in it anymore, but I didn't know how to get out of it. And I figured if I came clean to people, that they would judge me and just call me an alcoholic, and I would probably lose my job. And, you know, I just thought all those negative things, and I just thought I'll just keep going, and maybe I'll just kind of wean off a little bit. And it was never able to do that. And once alcohol had me physically to where I needed it to live, you know, like the shakes and, you know, grabbing the half gallon with two hands, hoping I don't knock my teeth out, you know, with that first few gulps, and just to get that of just, okay, now I feel normal. Like I wasn't drinking to get drunk. And, you know, a lot of my family members thought that, oh, you know, Corey's just drinking because he thinks it's fun. And I remember I was told that, I think, by my stepdad. He's like, you know, drinking is not all it's cracked up to be. And, you know, life's not a big party. And I'm like, I'm not partying, bro. I'm like,
no.
Nobody partying over here, man. It's like, I don't drink on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sunday. I mean, it's what I need to do, and I don't know how to get help. And I wish it was easier for people now. Like, we were going to start this campaign in September called "It's Okay to Ask for Help," and we were going to put people's videos up on our website, and it was going to be around Recovery Month, because that's September. But then the crew got COVID, and I'm a last minute kind of guy. Like, when's it need to be done? All right, I'll get it done then. So I hadn't really prepared some things, but not everything. And then once COVID came in, it was like, it was over. So we weren't able to get that out, but something we'll do in the future. But I just want people to know, like, hey, there are people out there that can help you, you know? And if someone is in that same situation that I was in, like, I know I need help. I don't know what to do for help. I don't really know. And just to make a phone call and just say, hey, I need help. You know, it doesn't mean we're bad people. You know, we've of course made lots of mistakes, most of them when we were drunk. A lot of regrets. I don't think I have many regrets actually being sober. I don't think I have any. There's none that I can think of right now. I can think of like 100 of them that I can tell you back when I was drunk, but you know, I'm not that same person anymore. I mean, I am the same person, but I'm not that same person, you know, as we are when we're drinking. What's some of the reaction that your family has now with you?
Well, one of my biggest moments was I was helping my dad out here with this fence, and I had put a photo up on Facebook. It was one where I was sitting in my bed with my long shirt on and my hat and stuff. And he goes, "Look at this guy." He goes, "Look at you. And he shows me another picture of a few years ago of when I was still drinking, and just how proud he looked on his face. He was about in tears, man. He was almost crying. I've never seen that on my dad before. And I don't know, that right there was really, really inspiring for me. And it really warmed me, made me cry a little inside. And I don't like to cry out a lot, but that's just me. My coworkers, especially the people that knew me a couple years ago when they were there and I was there drunk, they are very impressed. They like to see the man that I've become. I work my ass off when I'm at work. I do my 8 hours, and people that, like I said, knew me when I was drinking, they knew that I would leave after 6 hours or 5 hours of work. And I never lasted a couple months at a job when I was drinking. So for them to see me there now for almost 4 months, it's very nice.
And that's good work too, man. Running the CNC,
it is.
It's good work, and doing something different pretty much every day, probably. And
oh yeah,
kind of changes things up, and it's a good gig, man, for sure. And I bet that if there's other employees that they see slipping off, because like when we think we're fooling people, we're not. They know. No. And I bet that, and I don't know if it'll happen in 2 months, 2 weeks, whatever, but I bet if there's someone in there that they kind of suspect like, oh man, this dude's got a problem with, some kind of drug. Hey, Jake, Sparky, get over here, man. Hey, we're going to tell so-and-so that if he has some issues, he can come talk to you. Is that okay?
Exactly.
You'll be like, yeah. Mm-hmm. I could be the advocate here for an extra $3 an hour. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, you do it for free, but that would be something.
Of course.
Like if you want to put that in my job title, wouldn't be
designated a helper when it comes to addiction.
Yeah, my grandfather used to do that. He worked at Whirlpool back in the day, and he wasn't a drinker, but my great grandfather was, and bad, like super bad. And so he had been around it and seen it, but Whirlpool would send people to him, like, hey, go talk to Warren, and he'll help you through it. And I remember it was one of the last few times that I did drink where I was just a hot mess, and my mom was like, well, it's time, we're going to go talk to Grandpa. And I was so embarrassed. I'm like, no, I can't tell him. She's like, honey, he understands more than what you think. And we talked to him, and that opened a really nice door for him and me and our relationship. And I really got to be able to open up with him and talk to him more. And he wasn't judging me like I thought. He was like a farmer. He did so many different things, man. He was always working 6 a.m. till way past dark. And he was just a working man, he kind of grew up in that generation. And, to have him not judge me and to kind of understand, and yet he didn't go through the same struggles I went through, but he'd still, and it really, really impressed me a lot. And I remember just crying to him and, just like, oh, I'm such a disappointment. And, and he's like, no, man, you're not. And that's what he told me. He would get up at like 6 a.m. and listen to me when I was doing the morning show in Benton Harbor. And he's like, I couldn't get reception in the house. So I go sit in the van, I'm like, even when it was cold. And he's like, yeah, listen to you, I was proud of you, and it's like, okay, like, all right, well, now here I am drunk and a mess, but it's those relationships too that can be repaired, and sometimes we don't think they can. And have you come across the uncontrollable, just out of nowhere crying in situation? Like for me, okay, I'll give you an example. You're like, what? You mean like, do I need to get on pills or something? But no, when I met with my mom and stepfather, we went out for lunch here in Traverse City, and we went to this Mexican place, and I was going to tell her that I wanted her to be on the board of 217 Recovery, as like vice president. And that's where we went there. And I was like, all right, I'll let her know. And we're sitting there, and my stepdad went to the bathroom, and I was like, Mom, we've come a long way. And then I just started bawling, man. Like I couldn't keep it in. And it was just like, I had the quiver lip, and it was like, you can't stop it. And just bawling, just will you be the vice president, just because I know that where we've been together and what I've put her through. And she's the only person that never gave up on me. You know, that was a very emotional moment. And I had no idea it was going to be that emotional. And those feelings just were so overwhelming, man. Like all I could do was cry. And I don't know. I mean, not everybody probably has those kind of moments, but it was something that I didn't see coming.
That's fair. I understand that.
Yeah.
I've had it with my dad, Rick, once or twice. You know, he's the one person, like you were saying, that I can, because I had put him through a lot. And he's still there, you know, and so I completely can relate to that. And I know what you mean. So like, he is the only person that I will cry to, but it's, I don't know, crying by myself, I can really let a lot more out than what I would with another person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of can go out into the woods or in my garage or something and be by myself and metaphorically scream in the pillow. So it kind of helps. That's just me, because I got a lot of past anger and aggression that I have been working on. And by crying by myself, it allows me to let a little bit of that out at a time. So I can let a little bit extra out.
What are some other tools that you have in your tool belt that help you with your recovery? Do you go to meetings? You see a therapist?
Yes. I go to meetings. There's one here in Cadillac every single Monday. I can't remember the name of the church. I think it's Resurrection Life. But I do that. I read my book. I will listen to my music. I'll write my songs. I'll go for walks out in the woods. I'll study my history. I'll play my guitar. You know, I'll take a nap sometimes. I'll read a book. I do my hobbies. And I really like to enjoy my hobbies. You know, that helps.
And you said that the relationship with your girlfriend of 5 years is now over.
Correct.
Are you worried at all? Like someday you're going to open up a box and there's something of hers and you're like, oh, that might cause me to drink. Or are you like,
it won't cause me to drink. It'll probably make me very upset, and I'll feel it in my heart, you know, because I was about to marry this girl named Tori about 6 years ago. Not 6 years ago. 7 years ago now. And she went off to college and she left me, and that was that. And I had actually had that situation where I had found a box of her stuff that she had given me, and it hurt. I cried, and you know what I did with the box was I closed it back up and I put it back away. You know, and that I just put it back. Because the longer I was going to sit there and dwell on it, the longer it was going to hurt. And I wasn't going to start looking through it, because that it was going to make it worse. So I am prepared for that.
It's hard.
If it does come.
It's hard sometimes to be prepared for those moments, man. I call them getting blindsided, because like you're like over here doing this thing and everything's going good, and then bow. And those moments, man, are really hard for people in early recovery to get through. Yeah, I struggle with it, man. I struggled with it for a while, and I kind of the same situation. I was living in Buchanan, and I opened the closet. Oh, there's some boots. I'm like, and I first wanted to just throw them right in the trash. I was like, get that out of here. You know, I don't need that right now. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, she doesn't own a lot of things. And so I gave them to the neighbor and was like, you can track her down. Here's her stupid boots. And I felt better about that I didn't just throw them away. And then there was a time when it wasn't, I don't know, 6-7 months ago, I was going through some stuff and here in Traverse City. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, that's hers. And I texted my friend. I'm like, hey, if you hear from O girl, you know, tell her. And I was like, nah, F that. I erased it, threw it away. I was like, I don't even care, man. I don't care if those were pictures. I don't care. You know, she should have took them with her. Hey, ain't my thing, but I don't need it. It's not my house. My wife would not appreciate it. So yeah, I don't need to be trying to mail this back to her. No, trash. Yeah. And some people are like, man, that's mean, but whatever.
You're married. You got a different life now.
Yeah. And it's not my job to track her down and try to give her stuff. Right. I don't care if it was the last picture of whoever she ever had. Not my fault. Ain't nothing I can do about it, you know. And for me to go out of my way to try tracking this person down, that person to me was very toxic and cancerous, and it was a horrible relationship. You know, like why would I go try to track that person down? It wasn't like she was a nice person, you know. And but then there's another where like there was some I don't know, they're some dinette set, or I don't know what it was, but from a girlfriend that I had back in Arkansas, where that wasn't as toxic at all, you know? So I actually told her, hey, what's your address? I'll mail these back to you, you know? And my wife knew about that, you know, and she didn't care because that was a little bit different. But, you know, somebody that's completely toxic, like, why would I go tracking them down? You know, like, why would I go open that box of poison to do something nice for this person?
You know, what's interesting is we could relate that to recovery too, because there's a lot of people that I know that don't know that I'm sober. And I'm still 18 months sober, but they haven't seen me since I got sober. You know, they don't know the things that I'm doing. So in their mind, I'm still that toxic person. And that's what a lot of people that are in recovery don't think about. It's like you're going to call somebody and say, be buddy with them, but they still look at you as this person. So it could make it bad on both ends, thinking you're doing a good thing, but in turns it could cause a whole catastrophic downfall of a bunch of other stuff. So,
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, being around the people that you need to be around. I saw a friend Brooks, who is in our fantasy football league. He posted today something about on Facebook where pretty much stop being around toxic people. It's pretty much what it said. Like, why am I putting myself around people in my past when I need to find the people in my future? You know, like, It's pretty much the same thing in recovery. We have to do that. We have to find different things and different people. And that was a hard thing for me, because when I thought I was doing the right things, obviously I wasn't, early on in my recovery, you know, one of the many attempts at it, where I thought by not drinking, I was doing everything I needed to do. You know, I don't drink when I do laundry anymore. I don't drink in the morning. I don't drink. I don't drink when I cook. I don't drink anymore. So I'm doing great. But it goes back to me asking people now, and this is probably why the reason, like, well, what are you doing? You know, and well, I don't hang out with people who drink. I don't drink. Okay, well, you need to go hang out with people. Then, you know, like, I was just not hanging out with anybody. You know, I need to go make those relationships, make those friends, you know, make those things that interest me and that I can spend my time on in doing, you know, going to meetings. I love going to meetings. I haven't been to a meeting in a while, but, you know, going to meetings, I love it, man. It's to me, it's fun. I get shit off my chest. I use the meetings for what I want them for. And it really, really helps me. And it gets me around good people who understand the struggle. And you never know when someone's going to come up to you and ask for advice. You know, maybe I'm not there to get anything. Maybe I'm there to give something that day. And you never really know. Mm-mm. So just go out of your way to find those things to do, you know, find a hobby.
Always.
You know, do you like to do art? Never tried it? Try it. See if you're any good. If not, whatever, call it abstract, put it on your wall. And remember that you did that sober. I have this one picture, and my mom calls it the vagina picture, and it has nothing to do with the vagina. I was just painting one day and thought it looked cool and whatever, and everybody thinks it's a vagina. I don't know, but it's hanging out in my hallway because I know I did that when I was sober. You know, it's one of those little reminders, and it's crap. I couldn't sell it for $1, but I wouldn't. You know, it means more to me than that, and you know, the things we do when we're sober and the art that we can create. It's for us, you know, and
exactly.
As long as we're happy with it, who cares, man?
It's all that matters. That's how I feel about my songs, man. I wrote them for me, and people seem to like them, and you know, that's just a bonus. That's awesome. I'm glad that people like it. I like it too.
Now, how can people follow you then?
I have a TikTok, Jacob Sparks 13. I also have a YouTube channel. I call it Sparky's Recovery Channel. I'm working on getting more on there, but I was going to wait till after I got my song recorded because I have a beat that I got the rights for. I'm going to be recording a song on it.
Nice.
So, it's actually one of the songs I wrote in rehab.
Nice.
It's called Another Day.
Are you going to perform anything for us today?
I can.
It's up to you, man. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
All right. Do you have a beat that you could put on? Oh, I'll just do it without a beat then. Okay.
You don't want my Fat Boys beat?
Oh, you're going to do that?
I was going to, but apparently not.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to do it now, man. That was horrible.
Oh, okay. Well, the song, it goes like this. It's just another day. I'm chilling like a villain. I'm killing it today. I'm feeling great. I know my fate. I'm sober, no more great days. The alcohol will make me stop, so I call up a friend. Look for help. Can't do it by myself. Throwing addiction down the stairwell. I know they can tell I'm hurting. My emotions stop disturbing. Then the culture numb my mind. I sit and listen, take my time. Remember what they say, so I can lay my head down at night. I'm so full of life, but my body feels tight with frustration. Don't want to be patient, thinking of what I might be facing. It helps since we have a beat with it, but
it does. Yeah, my beat wouldn't have worked with that anyway. But yeah, I like it, man. And that's what I'm talking about. Like that confidence that you have now, and going back to your earlier videos, you know, it's night and day, man. And I can only imagine another year from now how much better you're going to be. You know, like
I'm excited.
The sky's the limit, man. You know, it really is. And I'm super, super proud of you, man. I really am. And
thank you.
You know, having you on the podcast today it's been fun. You know, we had to catch up, and I don't know if you remember my nickname back when you were in treatment. You had a nickname.
I called you Dad.
You did.
Hi, Dad.
Like, what's up, son? No, it was fun though, man. It really was. We had a good time.
It was. Oh yeah.
One of the things too is we can't forget to have fun in recovery.
Indeed.
You know, so many people will go into those situations, and rightfully so. They're not usually going in on the best emotions, but they just get so caught up in the whole, you know, I'm a piece of crap. I'm here and recovery. Everything sucks. You can go that way if you want, but it's going to not be fun. And that's one thing that I tried to do at Dukoski is, you know, give you guys a little bit of fun. And we did the adult Pictionary. That was quite
that was
fun.
Hilarious.
And which now I guess another guy tried it and they're like, we can't do that. You can't do that because you're not supposed to have like obscene material or something, you know? And I'm like, it's cream pie, you know, like how is that wrong? You know, like, I don't know. Like there's so many different ways to take that, but, and then it got,
we know where his mind is.
Yeah. You know, big cock, that's rooster, you know, like, what do you mean?
Right,
like,
what the hell?
I don't know what he's drawn up there. And that's not what I had him writing down, but written out. So funny. But that's the kind of stuff that I kind of wanted to bring in. So many people had said over the time of my employment there, especially with the Pictionary, that like, they never knew they could laugh so hard and be sober. And I was like, yeah, you really can, man. Like you don't need the drugs to make a good time at all. Mm-hmm. And it's just
you feel it in here too.
Mm-hmm. And just a good hearty laugh. That's just some really fun stuff around some good sober people. And you'd be surprised what you can do. But society as a whole, I think kind of pushes us towards, you know, oh, we got to have this to have fun. You know, like watch TV for a minute during a football game, you know, everybody's having fun drinking, you know, and same thing with the movies, especially with the weed now, you know, it's like, oh, I got to be on weed to watch a funny movie. No, you don't. No. And, you know, but it's just the way society kind of makes us think. And then it's our fault, you know, because we didn't drink responsibly, you know, like that's the biggest scam in the history of scams, really. The alcohol company, man, give it up to them. You know, they pulled one over on everybody and, you know, they're paying and lining in the right pockets. You know, is basically what's going on there. And, you know, if you put 50 people in a room and you gave them a question, what's worse, a drug user or a drug dealer? I'd say 99% are going to put the drug dealer. Okay.
I'd say so too.
So Budweiser's the bad company? You know, like they're the bad people. No. We're the alcoholics. We're the bad people. You know, like how does that get so twisted where, you know, I was listening to this commercial the other day and they were saying something about, oh, you know, somebody who was hooked on, you know, pills and that they're blaming the doctor for writing the scripts. You know, I'm like, okay, there's the drug dealer. And then it goes to, what other did it go to? It went to a different drug and then it went to alcoholics. Are you living with an alcoholic? You know, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, you know, and it's like, wow, okay, well, I'm the bad guy because I'm the alcoholic. Now, the person who was over prescribed, no, this is the doctor's fault, and again, let's blame the drug dealer on that one. But yet the alcoholic, no, it's just dirty old alcoholic. You live with an alcoholic. Well, then you need to get some help for him, man, right. Dirty guy. And, it's like, did you blame me for being fat? Or do you blame the ice cream company for making delicious ice cream? I chose to get onto that, but sugar is very addictive. And, when I was cutting off the sugar, man, that was tough. That was a hard detox, man. I was angry. And I was mad because I couldn't have it, but then after a few weeks, you get kind of like, all right, well, I don't need it. And then there's substitutes, now that I can have that's like, it's ice cream, but it doesn't taste very good. But you can tell yourself it does.
Right.
It's cold. Yeah, but at the same time, I guess that's like people trying to drink old duels or something, but I never really went that route. To me, alcohol didn't ever taste good. Like it wasn't something I did because that's refreshing. It cracks me up when people say that. They're like, man, I just get home from work and, I just want to mow the yard and have a nice ice cold beer. And I'm like, what is that going to do? You chasing some whiskey or something? Like, why would you pop a beer, chase it with some, like, why would you do that? A beer? One beer?
Right.
That's stupid, one bowl ice cream.
I go get the fifth with the 2 or 3 tall boys. Take it home with me. Then I go mow the lawn.
Yeah. And it would be all messed up.
What lines?
Oh, man. I had this neighbor in Arkansas one time, and he drank a lot and smoked pot, whatever. And he had this like long rat tail from like 87. And he came over one day and I had these Mexican guys that were mowing my yard, and man, they'd knock it out in 15 minutes, man. Vroom. They do it like 5, 6 in the morning, And he comes over one day. He's like, how much you pay them Mexicans mow your yard? I was like, I don't know. It's like $100 a month. They come by and do it three times a month. So $33, I guess. He's like, I'll do it for 25. What? No, dude, I don't need you over here in my business. I got these guys are professional. They come knock it out. Got a system down. Well, I'll do this one for free. And I'm like, no, it doesn't even need mowed, man. And I tell you, I'll do it. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. I look out. His lawnmower, man, has 3 wheels on it. So he's trying to like prop it up, dude. And then I hear it shut off, right? It's a little push mower. I'm like, oh, did he run out of gas or something? I go look, and it's just in the middle of my backyard, just all crooked. And I wait. I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's going to get some gas or something. I don't know why you just leave it there. Mid-cut, just, I'm like, all right. So then finally, after an hour or so, I go over to his house. I'm like, bro, you going to, what's going on with that trash in my backyard, And he's like, oh, well, it was dinner time. So, she got me for dinner. But I'll be back over there to finish it up. Man, he didn't come back over there. And I ended up, I think, just wheeling it out in the alley. Like, what are you doing? Then he comes over like 3 days later going, hey, man, can I get that $25? I was like, first of all, you told me you were going to do it for free the first time. So, I never agreed to any of this. He's like, oh, come on, man. It's Mother's Day tomorrow. And I ain't get my wife nothing yet. And, I really could use the money. And man, I was like, I'm gonna give you $25 just to get off my porch. I was like, don't come back, man. And my mom was there for that. And she was just like, who is that guy? Like, what in the hell? And he was all telling my mom she's cute. And I'm like, bro, like, just stop. Just stop, man.
It's
like,
so bad.
Like, that's the kind of things that people do when they're under the influence, And
oh, yeah.
I don't know. A funny story for me, I guess, but at the time it was very irritating. And,
oh, yeah.
At least we don't have to embarrass ourselves like that anymore,
Yeah, that's really nice. I remember doing stuff like that for myself. I'd walk down the side of the road to pick up cans just so I could get a beer.
Oh,
yeah.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. And we don't have to live that way anymore.
Well, I live in a town of 94 people. So when you're walking down the road like that, everybody kind of knows who you are. It makes it that much worse.
Ow. Yeah. Everybody knows you. Oh, there's old Jacob again. Yeah.
Yep, literally. There's Jake picking up cans to go get beer.
Let's throw one out for him.
Yeah, right? That's what I thought people were doing there for a while because there was a lot of cans.
Oh, geez.
Just being honest, man.
Like, no, I'm just cleaning up. Like if someone would ask you, you'd probably played it off. No, I'm just picking up the trash, man. You know.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you have one bag full of actual garbage, and the other one full of cans. This is my payment.
Adopt the highway program, man. I'm trying to adopt this highway. You know.
Right. Come on.
Show them that I'm fit.
Right. Show me some love.
Right on. Well, cool, man.
Did you
Well,
say you're black?
What?
Did you say you're black?
I did not say I'm what? No.
I thought you said that. That's what my mind heard. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm
like,
black.
okay. It's like, okay.
Letting everybody know I'm black.
I will.
People used to think I was black. I worked at station in Benton Harbor when I first started. Me and this guy, Larry Hormone, was his name on the air, and Larry Heron's his real name, but he's an actor now in LA. He's been in like Shameless and some other roles and stuff like that. But people would always think that he was me and I was him because they would say that I sounded black and that he sounded white. So it was like they would see us, they'd be like, "Hey, Larry," and I'm like, "No, I'm Corey." Corey, what? I thought Corey was black. No.
That's funny.
Not black. It is funny, but I appreciate you coming on the podcast, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good time. And you're kicking off our Saturday series where we're going to have guests on and do the whole video thing as well and post it on our app and on YouTube. And, you know, the audio will go where it normally goes, but something different. And like I said earlier, I have to justify spending money on the camera. So why not?
Right.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on, man. It was a blast. And it was good touching base with you again, and definitely keep in touch, bro.
I will, and I hope you have a good day, Corey.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the 217 Recovery Podcast. Listen on the 217 Recovery app. Download the app and rate us in your app store.